These arguments lack coherence. I am wealthier than you, thus I am superior. I am more articulate than you, hence I am better. The proper connection is as follows. I am wealthier than you, so my possessions exceed yours. I am more articulate than you, therefore my eloquence surpasses yours. Yet, you are neither possessions nor eloquence. How long will you delay in seeking the best for yourself, and in no way bypassing the discernments of reason? You have been presented with principles to embrace, and you have accepted them. What kind of mentor do you still await to entrust your self-improvement to? You are not a child anymore, but a mature adult. If you remain negligent and indolent, constantly postponing self-care for another day, you will find yourself stagnating, living and dying as an average individual. Henceforth, commit to living as a progressing adult, and let your highest ideals be unbreakable laws. When faced with challenges or pleasures, or things of high or low esteem, remember that the competition is now. You're at the Olympics, you cannot delay further, and your progress is made or broken in a single day, by a single event. This is how Socrates achieved fulfillment, by heeding reason in all his encounters. Though you are not yet a Socrates, live as one who aspires to be. You know your worth and the price at which you sell yourself, for people sell themselves at varying prices. This is why, when Florus pondered appearing at Nero's shows, Agrippinus advised, by all means, appear. When Florus asked, "But why don't you appear?" Agrippinus replied, "Because I don't even consider the question, as one who stoops to such considerations is close to forgetting his own worth." True joy is found in the present, free from anxious reliance on the future, not in entertaining hopes or fears, but in contentment with what we have, which is enough, for one who is content lacks nothing. The greatest gifts are within us and within our grasp. A sage is content with his fate, whatever it may be, without coveting what he lacks. Animals flee from visible dangers and, once safe, worry no more. We, on the other hand, are plagued by the past and the future. Some of our blessings cause harm, as memory revives fear and foresight anticipates it too soon. No one limits their unhappiness to the present. Much of what we consider proper entertainment is base or foolish, preying on human weaknesses. Do not be part of the crowd that indulges in such diversions. Your life is brief, and you have significant tasks ahead. Be selective about the thoughts and images you allow into your mind. If you do not choose your mental inputs, someone else will, and their intentions may not be noble. It is all too easy to slip into vulgarity unnoticed, but it's unnecessary if you resolve not to squander your time and attention on trivialities. You wish to triumph at the Olympics, and so do I, but first, consider the requirements and implications. You must submit to discipline, eat according to rules, forego desserts, exercise at set times regardless of preference, in all weather, and abstain from cold drinks and wine. In the competition, you may suffer injuries, endure pain, and still face defeat. Half-hearted attempts yield half-hearted results. Therefore, commit yourself wholeheartedly to your pursuits. Resolve to build your character through exemplary deeds and be prepared to pay the cost of a noble objective. The challenges you face will reveal your strengths to you. Stay resolute, and in time, you will create something lasting, something that honors your potential. Lead a virtuous life. If there are gods and they are fair, they will not judge you by your devotion, but by the virtues you have embodied. If the gods exist but are unjust, you should not wish to worship them. If there are no gods, you will have lived a distinguished life that will endure in the memories of those you love. Focus every moment with the discipline of a Roman, with the dedication of a man, on the task at hand, with precision and genuine earnestness, with kindness, willingly, with fairness, and free yourself from all distractions. Yes, you can achieve this if you treat each action as if it were your last, if you cease to drift aimlessly, if you master your emotions and listen to your mind, if you avoid hypocrisy, self-absorption, and irritability. You see how little is required to live a fulfilling and reverent life. If you can accomplish this, even the gods could ask no more of you. When dawn comes and you struggle to rise, remind yourself, I must work, as a human being. What do I have to complain about if I'm doing what I was born for, the purpose I was brought into this world to fulfill? Was I made to lie in bed and stay warm? So, you were born to feel comfortable, rather than to act and experience life. Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, spiders, and bees, each doing their part, contributing to the world as best they can? And you're not eager to do your part as a human being. Why aren't you rushing to meet your nature's demands? You don't love yourself enough, or you would love your nature and what it asks of you. People are not troubled by things, but by their perceptions of things. Death, therefore, is not terrible in itself, or it would have seemed so to Socrates. The terror lies in our conception of death as something to be feared. When we are obstructed or upset or grieved, let us not blame others, but ourselves, our own perceptions. It is the mark of an uneducated person to blame others for his misfortunes, of one who is beginning to learn to blame himself, and of one who is fully educated to blame neither others nor himself. What stops us from saying that a happy life is one with a mind that is free, elevated, fearless, and steadfast, a mind beyond fear and desire, that sees virtue as the only good and vice as the only evil, and all else as a meaningless flux of things that neither add to nor detract from the highest good, and neither diminish nor enhance a happy life. A person with such a foundation will inevitably be accompanied by constant joy and a deep-seated happiness that springs from within, finding pleasure in his own resources and needing no greater joy than what comes from within. My counsel is this: apply what we hear from philosophers and find in their writings to our quest for happiness. Seek out the practical teachings and the spirited, noble sayings that can be put into practice immediately, not obscure or outdated phrases or extravagant metaphors, and learn them so well that they become actions. In my view, no one disappoints humanity more than those who study philosophy as if it were a trade and then live in a manner contrary to what they preach to others. It is perilous to follow the crowd, and as long as we are more inclined to trust others than to judge for ourselves, we never exhibit wisdom in how we live, only blind faith, and a mistake that is passed from one to another eventually ensnares us and leads to our downfall. It is the example of others that leads us astray. If we simply distance ourselves from the masses, we can find wholeness. Yet, the populace, in defense of its own vices, opposes reason. We see the same phenomenon during elections, where the fickle winds of public favor shift, and those who elected the praetors now question their choice. Or is it your reputation that troubles you? But consider how quickly we are all forgotten, the abyss of endless time that consumes all, the emptiness of those applauding hands, the capricious and arbitrary nature of those who praise us, and the tiny region in which it all occurs, the whole earth a mere point in space, mostly uninhabited. What matters is that you do the right thing. The rest is inconsequential. Whether cold or warm, tired or well-rested, despised or honored, dying or occupied with other tasks, for death, too, is one of life's tasks. We must do what needs to be done. Look within, and do not let the true nature of anything escape you. Soon, all existing things will be transformed, rising like smoke if all things become one, or dispersing in fragments. Move from one selfless act to another with God in mind. In that place, find joy and tranquility. When circumstances inevitably disrupt you, return to yourself at once, and do not lose the rhythm more than you can help. You will have a better understanding of harmony if you keep returning to it. Difficulty reveals what men are. Thus, when faced with a challenge, remember that God, like a wrestling coach, has paired you with a formidable opponent. Why? So that you may become an Olympic champion, but it is not achieved without effort. Your happiness hinges on three things, all within your control: your will, your perspective on the events in your life, and how you apply your ideas. Do not merely claim to have read books. Demonstrate that through them, you have learned to think more critically and reflectively. Books are the mental weights we lift. They are beneficial, but it would be a grave error to believe that progress is made simply by absorbing their contents. Some things are within our control, and others are not. What we control includes our opinions, pursuits, desires, aversions, and, in a word, our actions. What we do not control includes our bodies, possessions, reputations, commands, and, in a word, things that are not our actions. The aspects of our lives that are within our control are inherently free, unrestricted, and unimpeded. However, those that are beyond our control are feeble, subservient, confined, and the property of others. Bear in mind that if you mistakenly believe that what is naturally servile is also free, and that what belongs to others is yours, you will encounter obstacles, lament, experience distress, and find fault with both the divine and humanity. Conversely, if you recognize that only what is truly yours is yours, and you accept the reality of what belongs to others, no one will be able to coerce or restrain you. You will not find fault with anyone, nor will you accuse anyone. You will not act against your will, no one will cause you harm, you will have no adversaries, and you will remain unscathed. Never rely on the admiration of others, for it offers no strength. Personal worth cannot be sourced from external factors. It is not discovered in your social connections or in the opinions of others. It is an inescapable truth that others, even those who care for you, may not align with your views, comprehend you, or share your passions. Mature. Why concern yourself with others' opinions? It's not the events that befall you, but your response to them that truly counts. One who laughs at their own foibles will never lack for amusement. Only the enlightened are truly free. The tougher the challenge, the greater the honor in overcoming it. Skilled sailors earn their renown from navigating through storms and gales. A wise individual does not lament what they lack but celebrates what they have. Seek goodness not in the external world, but within yourself. If someone informs you that another speaks ill of you, do not offer excuses for their words, but reply, "They must be unaware of my other shortcomings, or they would have mentioned those as well." Anyone who can provoke you becomes your master, but only if you allow him to disturb you. Wealth is not measured by possessions, but by the fewness of one's desires. Don't just talk about your philosophy, live it. The path to happiness is singular. Stop fretting over what you cannot control. If you seek improvement, be at peace with appearing foolish or ignorant about worldly matters. Do not crave recognition for knowledge, and even if you seem significant to others, doubt your own worth, for it is challenging to maintain your will in harmony with nature while also pursuing external gains, and focusing on one inevitably neglects the other. Surround yourself exclusively with those who inspire you, whose company brings out your best. Aspire to read, write, or whatever you aim to be. God has entrusted me with myself. No one is free who is not their own master. One should live in such a way that happiness relies as little as possible on external factors. The world makes way for those who know where they are headed. Remember, mere insults or injuries do not harm you. it is your belief in being harmed that does. If someone manages to provoke you, recognize that your mind is an accomplice in the provocation, which is why it is crucial not to react impulsively to impressions. Pause before responding, and you'll find it simpler to stay in control. A ship should not rely on a single anchor, nor should a life hang on a single hope. Do not insist that life unfolds as you wish, but wish for it to unfold as it does, and you will fare well. Remember to conduct yourself in life as you would at a feast. When something is passed around, it comes to you. Reach out, take your share with grace. It moves on. Do not hold it back. If it has not yet reached you, do not reach out eagerly, but wait until it comes before you. Apply this attitude to children, a spouse, career, and wealth. Events do not occur randomly. They come at their appointed time. Either God desires to eradicate evil but cannot, or he has the power but chooses not to. It is unrealistic to anticipate that others will perceive you as you perceive yourself. Upon waking each morning, remind yourself, today, I will encounter individuals who are intrusive, unappreciative, haughty, deceitful, envious, and sullen. They behave this way because they cannot distinguish between good and evil. Yet, I have witnessed the splendor of good and the grotesqueness of evil, and I have acknowledged that the miscreant shares a nature with my own, not of the same lineage, but of the same mind and heart. We all partake in the divine, and thus, none can harm me, implicate me in malice, or provoke my anger or hatred towards a kin. We are born to collaborate, akin to the feet, hands, and eyes, or the upper and lower rows of teeth. To hinder one another is unnatural, as is harboring anger or turning away from someone. You have dominion over your mind, not over external events. Understanding this will empower you. Disregard the trivial and hold fast to the essentials, remembering that life is but the present moment, an indivisible point, with the past and future being either gone or uncertain. Human life is fleeting, and the space we inhabit is minuscule. Even the longest-lasting posthumous fame is brief, sustained only by a chain of imperfect humans who will soon perish, knowing little of themselves, let alone someone who died long ago. The soul is tinted by the hue of its thoughts. Do not live as though you will endure for millennia. Death looms over you. While you draw breath, be virtuous. Contemplate the beauty of existence, gaze at the stars, and envision yourself racing among them. Reflect continuously on the transformation of elements into one another, for such contemplations cleanse the mundane dust from life. An obstacle to action propels action forward. What impedes becomes the path. Refrain from wrongdoing and falsehood. If someone disdains me, that is their issue. My concern is to avoid any deed or word that warrants disdain. The first principle is to maintain a tranquil spirit. The second is to face reality and know it for what it is. Let not the future perturb you. You will confront it, armed with the same reason that defends you today. One gains time by not concerning oneself with the words, deeds, or thoughts of neighbors, but by focusing on one's own actions to ensure they are just and pure. Little is required for a life of happiness. It resides within, in your mindset. When you find fault with another, ask yourself what similar flaw you possess. If external matters distress you, the pain stems not from the thing itself but from your perception of it, which you can alter at any moment. Your life's joy hinges on the quality of your thoughts. All we hear are opinions, not facts. All we see are perspectives, not absolute truths. If someone can demonstrate that my thoughts or actions are incorrect, I will gladly amend them, for I pursue truth, which has never truly harmed anyone. It is the person who persists in self-deception and ignorance who suffers. I have often pondered how it is that everyone loves themselves more than anyone else, yet values the opinions of others over their own. The pinnacle of character is to live each day as if it were your last, without panic, indifference, or pretense. A person's value is gauged by what they hold dear. Always observe that everything is a product of change, and accustom yourself to the idea that nature delights in transforming existing forms into new ones. Be steadfast like the cliff against which waves relentlessly crash, yet it stands firm, calming the tumultuous waters around it. A person must stand on their own, not be propped up by others. Curbing one's desires is a remedy for fear. Abandon hope, and fear will abandon you.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to receive great videos every day from the Quotes of Stoic channel. Goodbye and see you again.